I jumped the gun. I forgot to hit record on my computer here, so bonus content. We'll get this going here. Check 1, 2. All right. It is the 200 level. Mike Carpenter in the basement studio on a beautiful, beautiful Sunday early afternoon. It's not even 1 o'clock yet as we start recording in what was a pretty breezy first half. Illinois leading by 7. And Indiana's going to hang because they got some dudes. Wilkerson is feeling it, but he has been for the last month or so, so that's no big surprise. But so is David Mirkovic, and so is Keaton Wagler. And it does feel like if you can get some of the other supporting cast members contributing a little bit more, that this game should be there for you. And the return of Boswell, I believe he's got 5 points, a 3, and a putback. What impact that has on this team might be more measured, with intangibles in this early point, but it was encouraging to see him get a 3 in that first half. The shooting stroke looked good. And I think defensively you're going to need him here because I know that he might not be in tip-top game shape based on being gone for 3 to 4 weeks, but by just having that extra body, when you got a Wilkerson and you got a DeVries on the other side, it's going to be huge here down the second half when you're trying to just, let's be honest, outscore Indiana. Now, I think this Illinois team should be able to do that. I think the matchups with Boswell back are a little bit better than what you had against Boyd and Blackwell on Tuesday night. And I don't know if I trust much of the Indiana front court against your size. But you got to get it done, right? I mean, if there is a little bit of apprehension, it's that you were in this exact same spot against Wisconsin, I think up 6 or 7 at halftime. You felt like you were better. You looked better. You got up by as much as 12 with 8 minutes to go, and you weren't able to put that away. Indiana can go on a heater, and they've won a couple road games this year where they've looked pretty darn good down the stretch. So this is going to be a ball game, I think. I don't think Illinois is going to be able to substantially pull away, and that's okay. It is just about getting a win. It's about getting Stojakovic back later this week when you go out west. It's about being the best team you can be in March. And this is one step in doing that. I mean, I tell you what, man, when I look at the individual pieces here with Illinois, I think, God dang, every guy plays a role, and that when this thing is clicking on all cylinders, they would be a very difficult team to beat. As it stands, though, there are moments defensively in particular where while this team is not bad defensively, they're not elite, and they're going to give up there to opposing players that are studs. It's what it is. That's fine, but that doesn't make it any less frustrating when it's happening, right? So we're going to hit up the sponsors and everything as we go through this first half. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It looks like I'm actually on Twitter this time, which was not the case last time. And, we're going to get rolling here. So I will get to some of the comments as we roll along. But thank you guys for tuning in. And we're going to get underway here in the second half. I'll let you know in case you're timing it up when they do. And we have begun. All right, Keaton with the ball at half court. Boswell on the right side. Pick up top from Tommy. Back to the starting 5 here. Jake Davis in there for Stojakovic. Boswell driving it in. Nice feed to Tommy, but no, intercepted. So that was in traffic and a nice defensive play from Indiana. A little too cute there from Kylan when you had a 3 open there in the corner, it looked like. So with 19:38 to go, here's Indiana offensively. DeVries over to Wilkerson in the corner. It's up. It is no good. And it's going to be out of bounds back to Illinois. So knocked out from number 4. Indiana's big. All right, let's see here. Keaton Wagler with 11 points on 4 of 8 shooting. Not the most efficient, though, in defense of him. He has gotten mugged a couple times, and I'm not one to belabor the officiating, but especially that last drive that he had in the first half, it would have been nice to see a guy who's that good, who draws contact, get the benefit of the doubt. The 3 is up, no good for Keaton. It's a little bit strong, and a long board here for Indiana, and we're almost at 19 to go in the game. DeVries pump fake up top over to, this is Dorn with the drive. He somehow corrals it. Back up top, here's Wilkerson. Number 4, the big for Indiana. Name escapes me at the moment. Wilkerson trying to do a backcourt Back door, not there. Number 4 for Indiana, working his way down. It's going to be DeVries up top. They're going to have to shoot it here. 5 on the shot clock. DeVries, Tommy getting in the passing lane, and there will be 3 seconds to go, and it looks like Indiana will retain possession here. It was interesting to watch the Orange Crush try to be louder. I mean, they were, at least the TV mics were picking it up like they were a little bit louder, more engaged. They got a couple of roving Crush members running up and down the sideline trying to get people pumped up. This is DeVries. It's off the backboard, and there's going to be a shot clock violation. Illinois will take it out. So glad they didn't get Kylan for contact there. But, yeah, it was kind of funny to see. You know, listen, they got pride. They're a student section. We discussed, or I gave my armchair psychoanalysis as to why they're a little bit quieter than some student sections. Or certainly, you know, when I was in there and we were just completely, you know, a bunch of idiots yelling our faces off for an entire game. But they have brought it a little bit more, and hopefully they'll have more reasons to bring it here as the second half rolls along. We got 18-20 to go. Neither team scored until now. Nice feed from Jake, a dunk for Tommy. Easy 9-point Illinois lead with 18-15 to go. Mullet guy, number 5 for Indiana. Hey, listen, I like when guys just lean into, I'm on this team. This is going to play to the crowd. Mullets, I think, would work okay for Indiana Hoosier basketball faithful. Here's DeVries up top. Jake on him. Jake is a tall guy, man. He's easy 6'6", if not 6'7". DeVries taking it left down the lane, and it's knocked off of his leg going back to Illinois. Very nice. You know, Illinois, for as handsy as they've been in this game, it seems like a little more active with that. And yet not picking up the foul. So that's a lot of discipline right there. I see some comments rolling in. We'll get to those in just a bit here. Illinois back on offense. Ivisic, right side of the perimeter. Here's Keaton getting the pick from Tommy. Tommy should be open here. The 3 is up. No good. But Tommy gets his own board. He's driving it in. Up and the foul. Tommy with the wherewithal to take the contact. Easy layup. Illinois up 11, which I think is their biggest lead of the game. So the 3 is off the front end of the rim, bounces right back to Tommy. He corrals it. Nice drive to the hoop. A little more active from Tommy. The rebounding leaves you wanting. He is disruptive around the rim on defense, but 6 points and 3 boards for Tommy today, getting a lot of spells from Big Z. So you're starting to see with Boswell back, another hand on deck. You don't need to play the two of them too much together. Tommy makes the free throw. It is a 12-point Illinois lead with 17:30 to go. DeVries and number 5 for Indiana, they get a little bit of a full court look here from Boswell and Wagler. Now a trap. And look at this, Illinois kind of hounding Indiana, and they weren't ready for it. And it's off of Indiana. Wow. What a defensive possession. So Illinois decides to go high pressure. There were some traps. They continue all the way to a double team at the State Farm Center logo. And this pass down to number 7, Dorn. Mirkovic got there just in time, and it goes off of Dorn's hands. Great disruption there. Fantastic, man. That is a really good defensive possession. And, yeah, it was off Dorn last. Good stuff. By the way, can we talk about David Mirkovic? I should just say Mirkovic. I feel bad. I don't know why I'm not getting the right vowel with his name or the right pronunciation of it, but Mirkovic has been fantastic today and looks so fluid out there. Offensively in particular. Are they challenging this? Jeez. Well, anywho, while we got this little break, I might as well hit up our sponsors. Yep, we got a commercial break to check and see who it's off of. Hamilton Walker's, downtown Champaign, steak, seafood, and spirits. My favorite place to eat in Champaign-Urbana. 5-star dining experience, whether you're in the cozy dining room or the kind of more chill bar area, which to me feels kind of like an old-timey speakeasy a little bit with the tiled floors and a beautiful bar, wraparound bar. Hamilton Walker's makes everything scratch in their kitchen, all the way down to the ketchup. It is the best ketchup you'll ever have. I know that sounds like a really minor detail, but when you dip one of their extra crispy steak fries into it, you'll know what I mean. My favorite place, appreciate them being a part of 200 level now for the second year in a row. That's Hamilton Walker's in downtown Champaign. State Farm agent Brian Hansen, online at brianismyguy.com. Life, auto, home, business, whatever your insurance needs, visit online at brianismyguy.com. Big Illini fan, Brian, and we're getting that time of year where there might be property damage if you get too angry with the way that certain games are unfolding. So who better to reach out to and get some of that homeowners insurance for the inevitable remote control throwing, then Brian Hansen. BrianIsMyGuy.com. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend. Give them a call, 217-841-4728. Join their maintenance program. No overtime or weekend fees. Guaranteed same-day service with Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing. And finally, Owen Builders, LLC, online at owenbuildersllc.com. Check out a gallery of their work and get a free quote while you're there online at owenbuildersllc.com. I need to see, everybody, if this is actually streaming on Twitter. I feel like this is the second time in a row where we are not getting a Twitter feed. And if so, that's a little bit frustrating. Oh, no, it is live. There we go. Thank goodness for that. Okay. All right, so let's hit up the comments here a little bit. There we go. They are challenging the call. Of course they are. This is from St. Dom, and I'm going to read it, but then kind of give my take on it. St. Dom says, what's going on in your opinion, Carp? It seems we're regressing while other teams are getting better. It's a bad sign, in my opinion. At this point in the season, we should be dominating. It's like teams don't fear Illinois. Teams like Indiana, Wisconsin should have no chance to win coming to State Farm. Well, we talked about the home court advantage or lack thereof, St. Dom. I agree with that. I do think in this day and age of basketball, I don't think teams fear anybody. UConn was an exception 2 years ago. They were a juggernaut. I think Purdue, when you go into Mackey, has a little bit of that. I've never bought in this idea that teams would or should fear anybody, especially when they're basically paid professionals at this point. Jesus Christ, they're still looking at this shit. Call the fucking play. I'm sorry for my cursing, but like, okay, I guess it was just because of the commercial. I'm sorry for cursing there, but it's just slows this down to a snail's pace. We were cruising along, man. I believe it stays with Illinois. You will find out that few things frustrate me more than the elongating of games that don't need to be elongated. So here's the thing, St. Dom. I think Illinois, I am willing to excuse Wisconsin slightly, not a whole lot, but slightly because of the being undermanned. I think Brad probably did not do a good enough job the month leading up to it to really help spread the wealth a little bit so your legs weren't as tired at the end of Wisconsin. I think that was the culmination of overplaying the guys that you had. But I don't think Illinois is regressing either. I mean, offensively, this team is still what they are, as we get a block from Jake Davis there. This team is still really good. And this was a blip in the road, and I hope today's not another one of those. Then we would have concerns, right? Legit concerns. But I'm still pretty bullish that, depending on the matchups in March, you should feel good about it. So I don't see regression at all. All right. A foul. I don't know. Did he get some contact? Hopefully Keaton will get some of that benefit of the doubt as well. But Wilkerson from the line makes his first 11-point lead. Man, sorry for the F-bomb already, but just like these challenges drive me nuts. They drive me nuts. Not that it wasn't, I agree, Isaac. It was all ball. What a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry I know I'm on a roll on this Sunday, and this is the Lord's Day, and I should not be cursing as much, but it drives me up a wall. Anticipatory calls. These guys have been doing it long enough to not be this inconsistent at their job. And it's just frustrating. Kylan with the take, no good. Kind of a force there in traffic. Here's DeVries. I thought he traveled there with one extra step. 16:20 to go. Indiana ball. Here's Wilkerson up top. Kylan on him. Kylan getting his legs back under him offensively. He did hit the three and got the putback in the first half, but there's been a few takes that probably aren't the best. And we get a foul on Keaton, which looked soft as can be. Let's see this. What's the foul? What's the foul? Am I losing my marbles, or what's the foul there? I don't understand. This is a quick 5-0 run for Indiana. I need to do my breathing exercises now, because I can feel that if this game were to go south, I could feel that I would not be at my most eloquent, shall we say. All right, here's Keaton with the ball. He wants a three, but no, he's driving it. And up and in. And if these balance out the foul calls, then Illinois is going to be fine. But I'm a little confused as to the all-ball block. And then that one in particular was so soft. Hardly anyone touched Wilkerson. I don't know why that would even be anticipated as a foul. DeVries misses the layup or the floater with Mirkovic jumping at the pump fake, but it distracted him just enough. Illinois ball with 15:30 to go. Boswell looking for Mirk, but is it there? Yeah, he's going to try something. He's got Dorn on him. He's got a few inches. Kicks it over to Jake Davis in the corner. The three is no good. Tommy gets the board, though. He wants it. He can get this one-on-one here. Come on, Tommy, finish. Beautifully done. Over his left shoulder, off the backboard. Illinois back to an 11-point lead and a good response there. As Big Tota says, rebounding is, in fact, much better today, no doubt. All right, 15 to go. Indiana with the ball. Mullet man, a point. Over to DeVries for the three. It's up, no good. A little bit, not strong. It was off the front end of the rim, off the backboard. Kylan pushing it, but Illinois now set up the half court. And he kicks back out to Keaton with 14:45, 20 on the shot clock. Keaton creating some space. Illinois 4 out with Mirk down by the basket. This is going to, I thought Tommy was wide open there for the shot. Keaton's not getting a call. And if I'm Brad, I'm like, this is absolute bullshit. So we'll give that to Wilkerson, but we won't give that to Wagler. The three is no good for Indiana. I might have been a little frustrated had that one in. Yeah, that's really frustrating. And Brad's letting him know that if you're going to call this, then it should be called for Wagler, who initiates contact. And a nice take from Boswell. Good to see him use that body again. Illinois up to a 13-point lead and timeout from Indiana. So what's really encouraging about that, it got down to 7-point lead, 6-0 run there, getting the stops defensively with a couple just misses from Indiana, but it wasn't as if those offensive sets for Indiana were that impressive in and of itself. Nice recovery from Ivisic. Kylan for sure traveled, but hey, that's home court. I would like to say so. And I feel like I know it's low-hanging fruit to do the officiating thing. I understand that. And I want to be better than that. But to me, it's not so much Illinois is getting screwed, because I don't know if that's the case. I was a little bit frustrated after the Wisconsin game when Brad called that out. And it's okay to be frustrated and mention the inconsistency, but it always rings a little bit sour after a loss. So when I'm watching these games and I get frustrated by it, it's just the blatant misses and the anticipated calls that don't require a blown whistle. You know, it's the fouls that aren't, that get called fouls. And just that lack of consistency, it drives you nuts. And I know it's the human element. I mean, it's any sport that officiating is required, and that's most of them. That's most every team sport. I mean, we could do curling in the Winter Olympics, and they actually had to finally get their officials involved because of those darn Canadian curlers. So I guess it happens everywhere, but I just wish it was a little more a foul is a foul, and we know what it looks like. And if it's that way on one end, why is it not on the other? It's just annoying. And I'm sure that Indiana fans would look at this and say, you know, we're getting screwed on certain calls, and that's every fan base's prerogative. That's the natural reaction. But God, and you know what it does is it just makes the game less aesthetically pleasing to watch. Man. All right. We have ourselves a 13-point lead. And I like where this team is at for two reasons, apart from not to mention anything of the actual margin. One, they are getting what they want to offensively this half. A lot around the rim. In fact, has Illinois made a three? Tommy missed the three, got the putback. I think these have all been 2-point baskets at the rim so far this half. Indiana defensively is not showing any resistance. And they frankly don't have the size to disrupt Illinois when they are getting to the rim. If Illinois is in the paint, it's too late. So that's the most encouraging thing to me as this game rolls along. Second most encouraging thing is that defensively, I think Illinois is, for the most part, keeping things in front of them here. And what I mean by that is you were seeing Wilkerson in the first half really do a good job of shading off of picks and finding just enough space to pop a three. I think Illinois, for the most part, is following him and DeVries pretty well this half. Now, I thought the same one thing early in the first or the second half against Wisconsin. There were some defensive possessions all the way to the 10-minute mark where I thought Illinois was playing great defense against Boyd and against Blackwell before that went Aubrey. But as I look at this game and think, okay, I know what Wilkerson can do, and he's got 19 points. There's just not a lot else that Indiana's throwing out there against you, including DeVries, which Jake Davis is able to hang with DeVries. So if you're able to put Davis on him and not let him explode, then that really bodes well for the rest of the offense. Now, here's Wilkerson. That three's no good. And we're going to get a foul on Big Z, who has been bad lately. He's been bad. Like a lovable guy. He's a goofball. We love Big Z. He's not been playing well. He just hasn't. And not getting the rebound, then falling into an Indiana player, and then the foul. So a second chance here for Indiana. Wilkerson pump fakes the three. He's going to drive it in, kick it back out. Illinois recovers decently well on defense. And here's Mirkovic and Davis, but that leaves a wide open Wilkerson. And a frustrating possession, but Illinois does get the ball and a foul, a push off on Indiana's number 0. I had the weirdest random thought in the first half. You know, when Indiana was hanging and it was back and forth fair, even when it was 15-14 Indiana in the first half, I don't know why it occurred to me that they're an Adidas school, and so is Nebraska, and so is Wisconsin. And they all wear red. They're red Adidas schools for whatever reason. I thought if this game is one that you want to pull your teeth out while watching it, then there is some weird hex with that damn shoe brand. But right now, Illinois with a 13-point lead, a chance to stretch it offensively. Wagler taking it left, kicks it back up to Ben, who, God, I wish he could buy a bucket. Wagler, 3. He's going to have to shoot one here. He does. It's up and good. He's a dude, man. Oh, and he got fouled. Okay, I didn't even see that. You need to get a little Reggie Miller leg kick there. I need to see this replay. I turned to the camera here, and I missed him getting fouled. What a stud. All right, so here he is working off the pick. I don't think this number 0 guy is very good for Indiana. But, yeah, he fell into him, and there was no leg kick there. That's just bad defense and Keaton being Keaton. Damn. What a stud. 52-36. Wagler at the line, and he misses another free throw. He's 2 for 3 today, or maybe 4 for 5. I forget if he had how many he had, 2 or 4 in the first half. All right, it's a 16-point lead. Illinois not getting to the lineup much at all today anyway, but they are getting to the rim whenever they want. All right, here is number 4 for Indiana. Humrickhouse on him, one-on-one. A 3 for 0 for Indiana is up, no good. In and out, toilet flusher right there, and I think that bodes well. And not that there's basketball gods or anything, but I do think sometimes when you see that, it kind of indicates where this game's at. Mirkovic with the floater. Wow. 18-point lead for Illinois. Is that right? Good Lord. I see some kids in the Orange Crush jumping around. Well, that's encouraging. 0 for Indiana, back up top to Wilkerson. He's just going to have to launch a 3 or something here. We see him trying to work a double up top. They find Mullet Man. Here's DeVries. He pump fakes the 3, drives it in, and it's going to be a 3. Oh, no, Wilkerson. Good job by Ben getting out. The shot clock's rolling down. Wilkerson up and good, but I don't know. That's a good defensive possession. A lot of work to get it 2 and bring it back within 16. So I don't have any foibles with that. That's Wilkerson just being a dude, and he is. I don't know if he's going to climb his way into first team All Big Ten, but the numbers would suggest that he probably should. Humrickhouse to Wagler, back to Humrickhouse, who will get an open 3. Be there, please. Off the front end. And it's going to be, timeout, Ben, timeout. Illinois gets the timeout. He missed the 3. No, they're calling, oh boy. They went with possession. I'm sorry, I didn't do a very good play-by-play there. They're going possession arrow. Brad wanted the timeout. Ben won the timeout. Ben, the 3 before half that he didn't make, I literally just texted Trevor and Isaac. I said, God dang it, Ben, make a shot. You're doing everything else well, but you're not making shots. And in the game in March, in a big game in March, if he does, you will probably win. And that's a lot of pressure to put on a guy because he's your 7th option. And that's a much better place for him to be. But God dang it, man. Ben, make a shot, dude. These are good looks. And Isaac, I would agree with this. I love Keaton's effort, says Isaac, but he is the one guy I'm okay with if he doesn't dive in the second row. Yeah, Keaton, that no possession's worth that. Don't need no Pizza Hut parking lot dipping and diving. St. Don, Ben is too inconsistent with the 3. Everything else, he's been consistent this year. So it's, he's a really good role player, but would be a great one if he just made a 3 or 2 a game. And it is feast or famine with him. You don't really, or have not, at least to this point, needed him today. So that's good news. But Dang, man. 0 points. He does have 5 boards, but 0 for 3 from 3. He's got a steal. That should have been a timeout and stayed with Illinois, but officiating. It's just I get what Brad's talking about. It's starting to drive me nuts because it's right in front of us. And it just, why is it? And it's the same faces every time, isn't it? I don't know these guys' names like I did a Ted Valentine or Tom Rucker. Was there a guy named Tom Rucker? Ed Hightower, Tom Rucker. I know there's like a DJ Karstensen now or something. I don't know their names. I don't care to know their names. There's the guy with the high knees. I don't care. But it's the same faces. And then you look at them and you start projecting really mean thoughts at people who are probably pretty nice individuals. And it is a thankless job. There's no official that is probably well-liked. But I don't know, man. Like, yeah. Oh, man, there's some kids having a good time today. They're finding the most miserable-looking kids to show here, and maybe that's what the cameraman's doing. If so, kudos to him. These kids look dead. They are just zombified in the stadium right now, and I can't hear what Clark Kellogg or whoever the play-by... Is it Ian Eagle that's doing the play-by-play? But just some very interesting camera shots there of people not having a good time. And yes, High Knees is here today, Big Toda. Is his last name Anderson? I feel like, who cares? It is what it is. And Illinois is good enough to withstand that. You know, like Wisconsin, I don't care if there was a couple bad out of bounds calls. You got to be able to withstand that at home. But it is nonetheless frustrating to watch. And I feel like I'm belaboring the point. So I apologize for that. With 11:34 to go in the half, it is 54-38. Illinois back on defense. The possession arrow went to Indiana as Ben did not get the timeout that he had called on the floor. So here is Wilkerson. He's got 7 points this half. The rest of the team is 0 for 5 from the field. Mullet man over to Wilkerson, back up top to DeVries, who he will have to get going if Indiana wants to climb their way back into this. I don't think Wilkerson alone can do that. And a nice job by Big Z reading that backdoor cut. He intercepts it. Very nicely done. Not the smartest play from Indiana either when you're trying to pass over a 7'2" guy. Big Z hardly had to jump there. All right, Mirkovic up top. Picks up his dribble, so he needs some help. He finds Keaton. Back to Mirk with 12 in the shot clock. Mirk picks up his dribble again. He finds Keaton. Kicks it back out to Big Z. Be there, baby. Not even close. He stinks right now, man. It's time to get Tommy back in there because you are at that point of the game similar to Wisconsin where you feel like you can put your foot on their neck. And the 3 for Indiana is no good. Well defended as well. Not good for Dorn. Yeah, get Tommy back in there and close this thing out and just find your way to these last 8 minutes, not having to sweat it out. But right now, man, if it's not Wilkerson, it's nobody for Indiana. 0 for 7 from 3 this half. Big Z back to Wagler. Big Z's just out of sorts. And I don't know what's going on. Wagler gets blocked. And I'm sure Underwood wanted the foul. He's not going to get it. He looked a little dejected walking down the sideline after that one. Here's a steal for Boswell. Let's see if he can't use his body to get it up and in. Nice. I love that little shimmy to get around DeVries there. It is nice, Big Toda. Man, it's nice to have Bos back. It is an intangible thing, too, where there was a steadying quality to him on the court that I'd forgotten about with not having watched him for 3 or 4 weeks. All right, here's Wilkerson. Boswell on him. Over to DeVries. Back up top. DeVries going to roll above a pick here. Free throw line. It's off of Mirkovic's foot with 9:39 to go. So it's an 18-point Illinois lead here on what is my dad's birthday. And he's at the game. So happy birthday, Dad. Sorry for the cursing earlier. And we're going to be celebrating with him later this afternoon, hopefully following a substantial win for Illinois. 9:39 to go. 20 on the shot clock for Indiana. Wilkerson inbounds it. Mullet man up top. DeVries setting some picks. And an easy dunk for number 4. Not super well played from Tommy there. 16-point lead with 9:25 to go. And Boswell will do a little point guard duties here. But Wagler wants it up top against the mullet man. Don't know his name. I'm just going to keep calling him that. Mirkovic coming up top. Wagler, 15 on the shot clock. Number 5 kind of flipping and flopping around. Tommy wanted to slide over for an open 3. He might have an opportunity here. He's got one. The 3 is up and no good, and it will go the other way. Gotta make that, man. That is his spot. He's made a bunch of those this year. What a chop by Boswell. Oh, my God. Somehow Indiana corrals it, but he knocked that loose on the drive with just great hands. 8:40 to go. Here's DeVries. DeVries looking for Wilkerson. It's really going to be these two guys, I think, offensively. And this is Ivisic. Tommy on DeVries. Big Ben trying to stay on Wilkerson. Here's number 5. Kicks it out to DeVries in the corner. The 3 is up and good. This is, ladies and gentlemen, right where you were for the Wisconsin game. 12-point lead, 8 to go. It's a 13-point lead, 8 to go. There are 2 guys from Indiana that can make this a game, and that is DeVries, and that is Wilkerson. You got to hope that 3 didn't open up the can of worms here. So Illinois needs a bucket to kind of just put this back away. Here's Mirkovic, 3, no good. But a board for Wagler. Back up top to Tommy, sets it back up to Mirk. And Mirk trying to get a little foul up top, but these refs are not calling it in both ways. Both teams only have 3 fouls each. Here's Mirkovic. Nice drive up and in. Great find from Wagler. And a big bucket, I feel like, to go back up 15 with 7:45 to go. All right, here's DeVries again, getting the pick from Wilkerson. It's going to be a 2-man game, I'd assume, from them. Dorn can make 3s as well, number 7. And DeVries, 3 is up and no good, not even close. And a big miss, where now you're starting to feel like you're at that point of the game where every miss gets you that much closer to a win. So Wagler going to come over to Underwood. I thought for a second they were going to call timeout, but they won't. Wagler on Mullet Man. He's trying to get the foul. What a find for Mirk. Be there. Oh, get there, Ben. Jesus. Ben, I like you, dude. Put it in the freaking hoop. Mr. Hustle, but put the ball in the hoop, man. It's not an effort question, not with him. He's playing his butt off, but like you got a foul, and then that doesn't hurt you too much. But man, Ben, what are you doing? It was a nice putback until he put it in the cylinder. Regardless, Illinois up 15. I say that with love because he's playing really hard. But, yeah, Big Toto says, got to start hitting our 3s. We aren't hitting them today. And, but, I don't know. You haven't needed to because you're just getting the rim over and over and over. I mean, that's what's impressed me the most here. This is, by the way, a game that is flying by. And now that these refs are just letting both teams play and swallowing their whistles. This game has just picked up kind of a frenetic pace here. But scoring-wise, it'll be interesting to see efficiency-wise Illinois, which right now is shooting 44% and 25% from 3, 6 for 24 from 3, and only has 5 free throws attempted. How efficient the offense has been, because I don't know how many possessions total, what the points per possession is. Yeah. All right. So closing time, you were not able to do that against Wisconsin. To me, it's very clear. If you can close this game out without breaking a sweat, then that is market improvement from what you had on Tuesday. And Boswell has made a difference. I know it's not the craziest stat sheet. He's sitting right now at 9 points. Well, that's more than I thought, really. 9 points and 3 boards in 26 minutes. But the impact of having him back is absolutely massive. Now, there's Wagler playing 32, though I do think there's a bit of a calculus to that. He's still, of course, been high usage, but just ever slightly less so because of Mirk, because of Boswell. And when he gets Stojakovic back, even more so. Illinois plays 9 p.m., I believe, on Wednesday against USC, and Saturday at 7. West Coast road trip that if you go 2-0, you feel great. And I think by that point, you will have locked up, worst case, a 3 seed, because there's not a lot of damage that can be done to you down that stretch, assuming that Maryland does stink as much as we think they do, and Oregon is at home, which will leave that Michigan game that if you win that, I think you solidify 2. So we're talking bracketology here with 8 minutes or 7 minutes left in the game. I understand that, but this is a game right here where you're just holding steady. You get the win, you hold steady where you are, which is either the lowest seeded 2 or the 1 or 2 highest 3. You would not be put in a Purdue bracket or a Michigan bracket, and not likely a Michigan State if they are a top 4 seed, and I think they probably still will be when all is said and done. The world's least surprising result I felt Friday. Wisconsin getting 2 points at home, and then they win by 20. I didn't think it's a 20-point win, but I thought they're going to win that game at home. And I'm not sold on Michigan State, regardless of what they did against Illinois. I know that was a tough win for them, but I just don't buy this notion that a team that doesn't shoot the three well has a lot of March sustainability. But I say that, and Izzo does it a heck of a lot more than Illinois has in the last 25 years. So could be famous last words. Indiana ball here with 6:50 to go, 10 on the shot clock. Mullet man looking for a pick up top. He kicks it over to DeVries, who's going to drive it. He looks for, that's a silly foul from Mirkovic. Just let the guy get the dunk and move on. That will make it a 13-point lead for Illinois. And, I said on Wednesday's podcast about the Wisconsin game, the thing that bothered me maybe as much as any in that loss was that Illinois did some dumb things, which have been uncharacteristic for them. And that is just one thing that I'm not going to hammer home too much. Mirkovic is going for a block, ill-advised. Okay, fine. But not a smart play. You got to know the time. You got to know the lead. And you got to know risk assessment to say that's not worth trying to get a block when it's going to be a foul. Here's Mirkovic trying to get it back himself. Little hook shot. I mean, he's still so good, though. And like I say that, I'm frustrated with that one moment, but the dude plays his tail off. And he's so freaking talented, too, that, God, I hope we get another year of him. I think you will. And I do think that that's a pretty scary proposition, him as a sophomore coming back. But a nice take here for number 4. So Indiana's not going away. Down 12 with 6 to go. This is that tenuous 3-minute stretch. Just hang serve, right? Hold serve. Huh? Tommy wants the 3. No good. But Wagler with the board. He's trying to kick it out. He finds Mirkovic. And a good block, but a foul. Thank you. And I think what 4 made the mistake of blocking there was honestly fouling with a little too much, or blocking with a little too much authority. And probably Mirk doing his best soccer player impersonation goes, whoa, because it looked violent. It might have been all ball on that block. But this is why I guess it never hurts to add a little bit of sugar to your performance. Mirkovic with 21 points on 9 of 14 field goals, 6 boards. Active defensively. Free throws up. Good. Nice. Illinois now 5 for 6 from the line today. God, it is good to see Boswell out there. A calming presence. Just a nice guy to have. Starting 5 back in there for Illinois. Presumably to finish the game as Mirkovic makes a second. Back up to 14. You feel like you are at that point in the game where just 1 or 2 more stops, right? We had that PTSD from Wisconsin and how you just did not get any stops. So here's another opportunity for Illinois. 5:30 to go. And this number 4, his name is Alexis for Indiana. He's got 11, and he's trying to break down Mirkovic, and Wagler reads that pass perfectly. Intercepts it before it can get to Dorn. That is huge. All right. 5:10 to go. Wagler with the ball, getting a pick from Mirkovic. Boswell hanging about 40 feet back from the basket. I think to honestly play safety in case Illinois misses something, and then he can be back in transition, but a foul on Indiana. So Mirkovic will go to the line to shoot 2 again. And on Saturday, they're going to do that March Madness men's bracket preview. So we'll see if the initial signs are of a 2 or a 3 for Illinois. And 2 not so good looking games. Cincinnati at Kansas. Cincinnati's bad. And then Ohio State at Michigan State. And Ohio State's, but doesn't seem like too compelling of a game there. Gus Johnson, who is, I don't really know what to make of him other than he's just kind of a bloviating fool at this point with a big voice. Said yesterday during the Ohio State-Virginia game something along the lines of Ohio State basketball has no NIL because they spend it all in football. And I'm thinking, they can't spare a square, They can't spare a little bit for basketball. I just find that I find him to be insufferable because he's probably getting fed actual research. And yet time and time again during broadcasts, he just puts his foot in his mouth. and just says some of the dumbest crap you've ever heard. Now, apparently, this is a foul on the floor. Okay. 5 fouls for each team. Mirkovic wants a 3. No good. But Boswell gets the offensive board. He's kind of in trouble here, but he does kick it out to Wagler, who stays inbound somehow. Back up top to Mirkovic. Wow. The offensive rebounding, 13 for Illinois, getting back into the swing of things after a rough offensive rebounding night against Wisconsin. Here's Mirkovic working on Mullet Man. He's going to have to take it himself. The turnaround J is up and good. Holy moly. Wow. That's a 15-foot fadeaway from this kid. Man, Mirkovic is exciting me, man, because, like, if you're thinking who's your second option, it's him. He is the second option, which means that a guy like Tommy, who's been in and out a little bit offensively, that's okay. You know, Tommy can just do what he does best, which is the spot-up threes and the occasional layup or dunk. I mean, that's fine. That eases his burden when you got a guy like Mirkovic creating not quite as much as Wagler, but he's getting close in terms of usage. This last month, I think the biggest storyline for Illinois has been the emergence of David Mirkovic as a star, because we knew he was good for the first 2 months of the season. It's been the last month where you're thinking, this guy can be the difference maker in a game in March. Now, here's DeVries. Illinois is 1 foul away from the bonus. And a good job by Tommy staying tall and not getting that foul. Here's Alexis trying to break down Tommy, and it is no good. And that's a huge stop. Illinois up 16 with 4 to go, taking their time. And here's Wagler with 3:50 to go. Looks for the pick. Looking left, finds Ben. I'd love to get Ben a 3. No good. But a rebound from Tommy, up and in. Easy peasy. Way to go, Tommy. Illinois up 18. Nicely done. 3:30 to go. Great bounce back here from Illinois. And more importantly, great down the stretch. Closing time when it mattered. They got the stops. They got the buckets to stretch that lead. Oh, Kylan wanted that steal. Wilkerson over to DeVries. Good job by Mirkovic recovering defensively. DeVries with the take. Here's Dorn from the corner. It's up, and he was out of bounds. Phenomenal stuff here from Illinois. Great bounce back. All right. Hey, the Orange Crush is alive. Yeah. It sounds like they were better today. I don't listen during the second half, and I'll talk to my family. Were at the game today, so I'll talk to them and see if they thought that it was a little bit louder and more rowdy. But yeah, encouraging. So before we get out of here, because we'll do the last 3 minutes, I want to hit up our sponsors one more time and remind you that the best way to support us is to support our sponsors. That includes Hamilton Walkers, downtown Champaign, steak, seafood, and spirits, 5-star dining experience, the service, second to none, the food, second to none, and you aren't going to break the bank going there. It is still amazes me when I go to Hamilton Walkers and see the prices of some of my favorite items there. It's entirely reasonable. And you got to start with an old-fashioned to start. I just said start twice in the sentence. That's redundant. But that's how you should begin your experience, whether it be old-fashioned or my wife will get a martini. Great bartenders. Don't sleep on that. Some of the best bartenders in Champaign. They just do everything top quality. My favorite place. Really happy to have them as part of the podcast, Hamilton Walkers. State Farm agent Brian Hansen, online at brianismyguy.com for life, auto, home, business renters, you name it. Whatever your insurance needs, visit online at brianismyguy.com. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend. Give them a call at 217-841-4728. And we are about to set up our AC check. I know I got spring fever. I'm wearing shorts right now because I just couldn't help myself as it gets to almost 60 degrees today. And sometime in the next month, 5 or 6 weeks, maybe we're going to have our AC check from Dogtown. And they've been making sure our HVAC system has been top notch since we started doing that about 3 years ago with them. That's Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, 217-841-4728. And finally, Owen Builders LLC, online at owenbuildersllc.com. For your next home improvement project, check out a gallery of their work online at Owen Builders LLC. So, closing time for Illinois. A couple more things here before we get out of this from Wesley. Watching Boswell be able to stop drives by the guards and just see his overall quickness on defense makes me confident both the MSU and Wisconsin games would have gone differently. I think that is fair, Wesley. You were a play away in each from winning in regulation. And boy, you wish you could have do-overs. You know, I know you were shorthanded, especially against Wisconsin. Still feels like it should have won both, which makes that frustrating. But it would be foolish to say that, oh, well, it wouldn't have mattered if Boswell was there. Of course it would have. It would have been huge. So to have him back, especially as you go out west, to get his feet under him at home, I think is a bit of fortuitous timing. All right. Look at this, 141. I think we're going to be out of here well before 2, unless some crazy stuff happens in the last 3 minutes of this game. But Illinois right now with an 18-point. I want to see here when they get the score back on. All right. 66-48. There we go. All right. Illinois ball. They are 2 fouls away on Indiana from getting to the bonus themselves. And feel good day at the stadium. You know, we had to kind of cleanse the palate after Tuesday because, man, the discourse got ugly. And I try to have fun with it, though I wasn't really kidding about my theories as to why the Orange Crush and these college students are a little more buttoned up, a little more reserved than they used to be. I'm not saying that was wrong. I'm just saying that if you're in a student section, go crazy, you know? We used to have some Sunday fun days back in the day, no matter what time the tip was. All right, here's Wagler with 3 minutes to go, 10 on the shot clock. Henrichhouse is probably going to get an open look here if he can drain it. Please be there. Golly gee, man. I just keep shooting, I guess, but I said that last year and it drove me nuts and eventually stopped saying it. And that is a team sagging off him because they're like, well, make it. You haven't. And you got to get him right shooting. I don't understand. It's like he lost it because he transferred all of his talent to everything else and not shooting. But we've seen some hot games from him earlier too, especially at home. All right, well, here he is on defense against DeVries. Keeps him in front of him. Great defense, honestly. That was great D. So it's like, why can't we could we just interchangeably every possession just bring someone else out offensively? Like Jake Davis on offense, Ben on defense, even though Jake's been okay defensively, but Ben's been really good. Just make the darn shot. Please, please. 2 to go. Illinois with an 18-point lead. Tommy's going to take a 3. He makes it. Good game for Tommy. Looking more himself. And he's your third option, right? Would we say? Stojakovic? Man, you get him back. That's a lot of balance. That's a lot of threats. And you got a month to get ready for what really matters with that whole group intact. So that's encouraging. Tommy with 12 in the second half. Here's Mirk. Alexis trying to break him down off the dribble. He leaves it short. Great defense. Illinois up 21 with 1:20 to go. Heck of a performance. Great to see the bounce back across the board. And oddly enough, you know, Indiana, this did not seem to be too taxing of a game. I don't find Indiana to be super physical. They are not very big. They just don't seem very big to me. But that might speak more to how big Illinois is. Henrichhouse can't make the 3, but Boswell gets the board. He wants the 3, and it's no good. Ben, is he 0 for 6? And a misplay here defensively. DeVries makes the 3. Now, and Isaac, you may know this. Do 20-plus point wins matter in net, or is it just double-digit? They got these certain kind of levels with which you get more credit for a win based on margin, and I'm wondering if there's one more level to clear to get 20-plus. Because I would like us to win by 20 if that matters, but if not, who cares? But man, Ben, I think at this point, and this is, I understand that Underwood wants to say just keep shooting, but I just don't think get Jake in there. I don't know. Like, don't let Ben shoot and miss another one. But I bet they're going to try to get Ben open again. He's on the baseline right now with 12 to go. Maybe he'll just shade towards the basket. No, he's in the corner if he wants it. Oh my God. They count that as it goes off the top of the backboard and in for Wagler. Just that kind of day for Illinois. All right, here is number 0 for Indiana. I thought he double dribbled, but not quite. A 3 from the corner is up and no good. Illinois gets the board. Boswell will run out the clock in his first game back, and a big 20-point win for Illinois. That'll do. 71-51. Excellent bounce back from Brad Underwood's team. They came ready to play and should be ready to go for the West Coast swing. Now, we're not going to be here Wednesday. It's too damn late because when that game's over, I got to go to bed. And if I do the podcast and if I get frustrated, I probably won't. So we'll be back Thursday for podcast reacting to that. And then Saturday night, I got to decide if I might just wait until Sunday. I like the live reactions, but I also like the post game, think about it, sleep on it reactions as well. But according to Isaac, he was texting with Trevor. He says 20 plus helps more than 10 plus. Very nice. And Greg says Cam's pre-gaming helping the crush. Did they have a specific pre-game at Cam's? If so, that's good news. And it looks like it did have an impact. Guys, it's okay to wet the whistle. You're college students. Your liver will forgive you for it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of what is a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in mid-February. And we will see you later this week. It is the 200